Hi everyone, let's paint together today this beautiful 15 centimeters or 6 inches mandala garden pinks. So beautiful and gentle. So let's start to create this beautiful. And I will show you what was my inspiration. I bought these flowers literally yesterday. Look how beautiful they are. So this one was even closed yesterday and she's blooming immediately in my apartments and the smells so nice. Look at these colors. I adore this palette. So this is my inspiration and let's start it. Black base as usual. I will use these green colors as always in description box below this video. Remember this one you can create from the darkest one by adding white color if you don't have one. Remember some colors literally could be created yourself. You don't need to buy everything, but I will use because I got some. This is really nice stones, really bright. This one a little bit too bright to be honest, and I will create custom color from this one by mixing with white. And as usually, again, all in description. 3 drops, I will use this white pearl. You may use white or light ones that you have from other brands. So let's start it. As usual, we are looking for the center mandala. I'm linking the video with instructions so you can do this yourself if you need some kind of a tutorial. Every 1 centimeters will be cycles. I'm doing marks straight away. And lines I decided to do every 10 degrees. So really small. And you saw at the end result, this is like if you want to create such small details, definitely worth to do small lines. Small like these 10 degrees lines. But it could be tricky. So you need to choose wisely what size you need. For this one, I'm doing every 10 degrees. And obviously, we are moving with circles. So step by step, we are preparing base for our painting. Once everything ready, let's start it. So first one, I will use this beautiful coral bars color for the central dot. You can come back a couple of times by adding more and more paint, and after that with thin tool you can a little bit move paint around to create nice surface. When everything dry out, I will put something on the top. I didn't decide it yet, it will be paint or 3D drops, but you can prepare it straight away and remove all bubbles if you see one, like that. Moving forward, usually I'm not doing adding white paint because it's pretty bright and messing with our palette. But in this case, because I'm creating white flowers, what are the color I should use? So with Snow White, I'm using as close as I can. I'm creating a row of dots, and you can play as I do, and I will show this to you in this tutorial. I'm using this trick. I'm placing dots as close as I can, but I'm not trying to do this too close. And later on, I coming back and add a little more paint on the top. This kind of a trick literally helping me to move with paint a little bit more comfortable. And yes, moving forward with our beautiful sour apple color, I'm placing dots as close as I can, again the same rule, and I'm using these spots between white dots. And this way we are creating second row of dots. One more interesting nuance or tip. So you remember that we are all live on this planet and gravity making pain going down. So by moving a literally slowly, you are letting more paint go down from your tool. So this one more like secret, if you're moving slow enough, more paint going down from your tool and your dots definitely will be bigger at the end. And next row, I'm creating with my only one custom color that I did create for this part by mixing electric pink with white. Proportion in the description box below this video as usual. The same rule, I'm going on the one, in this case I'm trying to move inside of this second circle line of marks and as close as I can using the spot between green dots now. The same rules, like that. You can straight away like come back and add a little bit more paint on the top, but you need to be really careful when everything just fresh and red. You don't need to do this, don't risk, and come back later. Moving forward, I want to create base for like small flowers. What I'm doing, I'm using color Melon. I really like this color, a little bit bigger dot. And I'm placing dot on a line, and again, I'm inside of third circle line, you see, and I'm going past like two lines, and on third one, I'm putting dot. So on a line, counting next to, and on a third one, I'm putting dot like that. Again, moving slowly, a lot of paint go down from the tool. When everything dry out, you can place more dots on 3D drops on the top, and this will be really nice. And you already obviously saw end result. So this kind of how you can move. Next step, I will use this bright coral bust that we used for the central dot and place 3 dots on the top of this, not exactly on the top, no, but higher than our dots we just created. Pick a tool I'm using and I'm placing this. You see the spots between lines, so I'm placing 2 dots and third one on the top like that. So yes, enough space between dots. Remember, we don't need to merge these ones. And with 3D drop, with mandala painting this way, we want to create a lot of dots. And this looks nicely at the end, but we don't need to merge dots. And here, moving like that. Don't rush. You can go with your speed. Remember, obviously, remove all bubbles if you see ones, obviously. And go with your speed. Remember that I'm making this video a little bit more like faster, showing you all tips because I don't want to do this too long. You can slow down if you need. And obviously, if you are using this tutorial, that's why I'm creating this video. You can slow down, stop the video, and use it and do this with your own speed. Don't rush. And the last one. And the next one, I did one way, but you may use, for example, for next dots, even so apple color, green one. It could be really nice. I did use the same color, coral bus, and when I was creating, I symbolizing these really big, nice flowers that when a lot of them you almost don't see green, you know. But if you add a little bit green over there at this point with these small dots, like when you are moving around, this could be really nice. Just giving you an example how you can create your own custom painting using this tutorial, but playing with the colors and your ideas. And again, we are not rushing, we are moving really slow, really careful at the end when I'm moving around to avoid mixing dots. And like that. So you may wait until everything dry out and move after that, but I'm moving forward and what I'm doing, really small brush, I'm using like 5-6 millimeters, and the color I'm using new leaf, and I'm making this small inside of this circle line between like top of my flowers. I'm creating like these small leaves, or obviously this smoosh, but really nice, really, really beautiful. If you want to create really small one, look how like it's finished result already. If you want to, for example, paint, I don't know, 10 centimeters mandala or stone, look at this, how beautiful. And definitely you can stop at this point because it's already really beautiful. Everything that I'm adding on top is just example how you can make it much more interesting, or a little bit more interesting. Yeah, beautiful. Really like it. So let's move forward. We can add something over there, but I decided to go first with my bigger flowers. I will use a spot between this circle green smooshes we just created. So I'm using this spot. You see, I'm leaving one circle like the space between lines and creating dots using this bright coral bars color. So in this case, obviously, if before we did these dots, previous row of big dots and row of flowers between like two lines, now we are leaving behind between two spots. You can see this on the video. I'm just trying to explain this, but actually it's pretty obvious from the video. We leave enough space between to be able to play around and create nice like petals for our flowers. I don't want to move too much with white, but obviously I want to add some. So again, I'm going with the same rule. I will create 3 dots on the top the same way that I did before. 2 firstly, and after that, third one. Again, don't touch each other. The color I'm using, my first and only one for this painting, custom color. And yes, step by step, and yes, don't rush. Let paint go down from the tool to your painting. And yeah, definitely remove all bubbles. Usually bubbles we are happening when we are mixing colors, so when we are creating custom colors, but somehow some paints contain bubbles anyway, even if I'm using this from the bottle. So I'm not sure, to be honest, what is the main reason. Obviously, when you're mixing, this is the reason, but when you're not mixing, why it's being created, I'm not sure. Leave in the comments if you know why. So we are finished, and now we are wanna go around. I decided to go with white dots around to add more white on the painting. I'm not using too much white. You see, I'm moving around. I'm going kind of with my lines towards this space between green strokes. I'm not using, coming back to my point, I'm not using too much white because it's pretty bright color, and it's a little bit mixing with how we see painting if you're adding this too much. There are even rules for painters that you are ever using white. I'm not going with these rules, as you see, but yeah, I remember about that. I'm planning to create some video or tutorial or class from how we are mixing and creating these colors. So I will notify you, so subscribe to this channel, obviously. And now we can play between these flowers and creating small strokes, obviously to create these nice flowers that we see. So as you remember, it's a lot of green color, so I want to add some green tones. I will use a little bit bigger brush, not too big, 1 centimeter, 12 millimeters maybe long. And I'm moving like around this dot I just created. So you may need to wait until dry out if you're scared so you can mess up. So I'm starting like kind of around these white ones. You see a little bit higher than my white dots going. And the color is sour apple. And I'm just moving around like that and going slowly like between my dark green strokes, but I'm not going too deep between them. And yeah, I'm most likely even look how it's playing out between flowers because I want to manage like space between flowers. And we got not too much, we created like a lot of flowers. So yeah, be careful. Because I'm using small brush, I'm not too scary to do so. But again, still, you see on a video, it's not too much space left. But again, you may notice we're adding this green color and it's so refreshing now. How palette changed immediately. I'm so in love with this effect that colors make into our side, like, to our brain, obviously. So let's move forward between flowers again with this darker green. And I want to go with java green. I'm starting a little bit lower. I'm, I'm not sure that it is visible on painting, but I'm starting from the white circle line marks line. But anyways, you see on the video, it's kind of maybe 5 millimeters lower than my this so apple green strokes we just created. And again, I'm playing between flowers and I'm placing strokes away. I don't want to go with my strokes going on the top of each other. Only if like really need, I mean top of my strokes. Obviously, the end of the strokes going on the top of green ones we just created. But yeah, make it as close as you can, like that. Yes, add green brightness to our painting. So some spots over there, we can definitely play with this. We can add 3D drops. I decided to go with the paint and coming back to my small brush, uh, 656 millimeters, really small brush. And going with my first custom color, I'm just placing two small strokes like that. You definitely can move in with these tools and swooshes. So go with your inspiration. It's not like something standard. Usually it's been filled with paint, but I don't know, somehow I just decided to go with inspiration. Why not? Nobody said how it should be because we all creating our own art and I'm fully support you with your experimentation. It should be your own art. I'm just giving you an example how you can use it tutorial, but definitely move with your inspiration. Yeah, look how we fill these spaces and it's more pinkish again. So over there, we got some space, definitely. You see the cross between circle line and the line. I'm placing melon color. It's the base of my flowers. We got some space where we can't create more flowers. And moving like that again, move slowly so more paint go down from your tool. Like that. And we can move and add more strokes over there to fill the space. But let's move forward. Firstly, add 3 dots. I'm using 2 millimeters tool, but actually I came back to 1.5 because it's not enough space. And I'm just placing 3 dots like that with our white color to lighten up a little bit this area. And again, symbolically to show our beautiful flowers, like that, really nice. And it's so gentle, like the same way as the real flowers, so gentle. And this mandala also looks so nice. Yes, we need to wait until everything dry out and play a little bit with these dots. So I want to show you on the background what I did. I added on my white and this pink row, third row of dots, and these 3 ones, I add more paint, and you see how visibly it's bigger. So the same tool, the same color, just going with the paint on the top. I need to wait until everything dry out, and after that I'll show you with green one how you can do this. So you see everything dry out, and that definitely looks bigger because obviously it's more paint on the top. So how I'm doing this? I'm showing you with the green. I'm going with the same tool and the same paint obviously, and carefully, step by step, adding paint on the top of the dots that I created. And obviously more paint, your dots make it bigger. But yes, you need to be pretty careful to not the same rules. You don't need to merge dots. It's not the end of the world if you did it anyways, but we are trying at least not to do this, so, and creating some kind of a rules how to avoid this. But even if this just happened, don't destroy your art only because it's happened. Definitely, I'm not encouraging to do this. So step by step, again, move slowly, so more paint going down from your tool on the top of the dot. And when it's dry out, it will be really nice and like more popping out from the surface. Like that. So let's move forward. What I want to do, I want to play a little bit with the dots that we already created, and they're dry. So with smaller tool, and because we're already using white color, I'm putting white paint on the top. And you see, usually we're using 3 drops, but technically we can play with the paint, why not? And it's working. It's lighting up our painting. The base color still visible, so really nice. On top of these ones, I wanna add pink one, our first custom color technically. And again, this actually works really interesting because the melon color that we used for the base is just still visible. It's making like this even pink not so bright. So again, coming back how colors working with each other amaze me again and again. So I, when I'm looking at these ones, I'm thinking, what if I can add something on top of these ones? I got a really thin brush, really thin. And what I'm gonna do, I wanna add more paint on the top of these green ones. I'm using sour apple, just really careful, just in the top. And on top, everything you can do this, obviously you can do this when it's dry out, the base color should be dry. And yes, the base color will be still visible, But this definitely lighten up a little bit the painting overall. Really nice. And once I did it, I decided why I can't do the same with pink small strokes we just created. And I decided to go with Melon on the top of this pink one. And when I was already doing this, I noticed that it's kind of making this painting more expensive. Sometimes like one detail may be all like we're talking about dressing up one detail make your look more expensive. This is the same with this painting. By adding this melon on the top of this pink, it really looks like kind of working. I don't know what exactly happening. Again, if you don't happy with something, you can remove it when your painting is still fresh. Remember about that? And yeah, step by step, we are moving forward. Now I'm ready to go with my 3D drops. I'm using white petal, all details in description box. Really nice one in the central. And over there, I decided to go on the base of our flowers. So I'm kind of putting my dots on the base of these bright dots that we created already and obviously dry out. And with needle, I'm doing this, but you can use a thin tool, making nice tails toward the center. And this way we're kind of finishing these beautiful flowers. But not yet. I decided on these pink ones, I'm adding like small 1.5 millimeter white dots like that. And this adding this simple trick how you can add complicity to your painting. Obviously, you don't need to do this. You can leave it like that and it still will be beautiful because it's beautiful. It's just example how you can make it more interesting. And nice space left. Let's play with this. So first I created with new leaf small strokes. I was thinking about that. After that, I decided to move to a different way. So on the central one, on the top, I'm adding small coral bars, like this bright color that we used. Small brush, like 5 millimeters, and I tried new leaf, as I said, but didn't work for me. So first of all, I'm creating really nice base for my flowers. Really actually interesting trick with sour apple, this bright yellow, really small stroke. I'm not even going between strokes too much with dark green strokes. It's just really pressing and releasing brush like that. Look how nice it is. And the same brush and new leaf. I tried these small strokes, but I decided that actually we got enough space for the biggest strokes. And coming back for 1 centimeter stroke, and with Jewel green, starting over there, almost on the end the edge, I'm creating small, like it's not small list, but small strokes like that. And again, I'm not even going between strokes, between previous strokes too much. I'm just pressing, moving, and releasing my brush, just playing with this space that we left. Again, because its flower is so gentle, small, and gentle and bright at the same time. And when a lot of these flowers blooming, it's just like colored, you don't almost don't see green. So I'm kind of playing with this, with my imagination, obviously, how I'm seeing these flowers. So, and now I'm coming back with to small brush and to new leaf. And yeah, I'm creating like a little bit over there, playing with this space. I'm going a little bit on the top of this jewel green strokes we just created. But again, I'm not doing these strokes like too long, too big. I don't need this. I'm moving carefully, moving around. Yes, it's kind of a lot of green, but at the same time, because we are using like different shades of green, and we are using pretty bright white, pinkish, coral colors. It's kind of working. And this is actually a really nice training for you if you are scared to move with big mandalas but want to work with strokes a little bit, with brushes. Really nice practice for you. I'm going back to this thin brush and just creating small strokes inside. You may avoid this. You can add just a little, like a couple of dots over there, just to play with tones and with colors. I'm using Melon and just carefully moving with the strokes inside of these flowers. And once I finished with this, I decided so why I can't add more pinkish. So with my custom color, I'm added small strokes over there. Again, I'm not going too deep, just a little bit like that. You can see this on the video. The trick is that they're really thin. Again, you can do the smooshes just with tools, but I like the geometry of this mandala. Look how beautiful these green colors with pinkish that's creating like really interesting lines and circles. Really beautiful. Definitely didn't plan this, moved with inspiration, but it definitely works. So hope you enjoy your painting. You can add a little bit more those really drops on the top over there. I did a really small one, as you see, like really small one, but they're working. I like that. Hope you enjoy your painting. Hope you enjoy this video. Press like button, subscribe, join my Patreon channel if you want to support me and get more tutorials. And see you on next video. Bye!